Why Louis Vuitton paid more for Beyoncé than any model in history.
Jay-Z is a little bit more low-key in a black monogrammed LV jacket and white tee, but
Have you noticed Beyoncé receiving that LV handbag from Pharrell Williams? No one realized she's actually the biggest winner of Paris Men's Fashion Week. At the LV show during the 2020
Paris Fashion Week isn't supposed to have plot twists, but Louis Vuitton just signed a deal with Beyoncé so big, it broke the industry record and stunned every supermodel on the front row. Why would the world's top luxury house empty its vault for one campaign? Let's follow the money and find out.
So last night was the Spring-Summer 2024 show for Louis Vuitton in Paris with their new creative director, Pharrell Williams. So let's talk about a few of the celebs who were at the event. Sometimes she misses, but this time I'm going to give it to her with the monogram handbag as well and the oversized sunglasses. Sunglasses are obviously ridiculous, but I mean there was a lot of paparazzi, so it helps.
Let's unpack the contract everyone in Paris is whispering about. Scope. It's not a standard face of the season gig. Louis Vuitton locked Beyoncé into a 12-month global ambassadorship that covers ready-to-wear, leather goods, and even a limited footwear drop. Internal memos call it Project Renaissance, a nod to her tour and a hint at the line's disco metallic palette Pharrell previewed last night.
Beyonce seems to be having a good old time vibing out in her seat, and Pharrell debuts a new song called Get Right with Doechii and
Creative control. Beyoncé gets final sign-off on all campaign imagery, plus the right to veto runway looks that don't fit her brand ethos. That clause alone is unprecedented. Even LV's past supermodels never had full veto power. Profit share twist. Instead of a flat fee plus bonuses, the singer negotiated a percentage of net sales on every SKU tagged with the B icon monogram, a tiny honeycomb LV crest hidden on hardware. Analysts at Bernstein say if the capsule hits just half of Virgil Abloh's first-year numbers, Beyoncé's back-end could out-earn her fee by Q4. Global media blast. The deal mandates a synchronized launch in 9 flagship cities: Paris, Tokyo, New York, Seoul, São Paulo, Dubai, Lagos, Shanghai, and Los Angeles. Each store will unveil a custom Beyoncé hologram, performing a 30-second a cappella riff she recorded exclusively for the brand. That alone required a separate SAGAFTRA waiver. Art film premiere. Instead of a standard lookbook, LV will debut a short film shot, After Hours in the Louvre's Apollo Gallery. Directed by Grammy winner Melina Matsoukas, scored by Beyoncé herself, and screened simultaneously on the facade of each flagship, it's expected to pull Times Square-level foot traffic. Bottom line, Louis Vuitton didn't just hire a celebrity. They bought a turnkey cultural event machine, one that spills far beyond fashion media into music charts, streaming platforms, and Stan Army timelines. So, why would a 170-year-old fashion house gamble on the priciest single contract in runway history? It boils down to 3 hard numbers and 1 soft power factor. Number 1, 314 million. That's Beyoncé's combined reach across Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube, almost double Louis Vuitton's own channels. The internal media buy report shows a single Beyoncé post delivers the same impressions as Louis Vuitton's entire global billboard spend for a month. Translation: the fee replaces ad budgets the brand would have spent anyway. Number 2, 15%. LVMH's menswear division grew 15% year over year during Virgil Abloh's first season because he brought in younger, more diverse buyers. Pharrell, and now Beyoncé, are tasked with boosting that growth to 20%. Market research shows 48% of Gen Z shoppers who follow Beyoncé have never bought Louis Vuitton. Converting even 5% of them pays off the contract inside 2 product drops. Number 3, $1.1 billion. That's the estimated halo revenue generated by Beyoncé's Renaissance World Tour. Concert merch, hotel upticks, even Uber spikes. Vuitton wants that Beyoncé bump. If a concert tee can fuel local GDP, imagine what a $4,000 B Icon Speedy bag can do for quarterly earnings. Soft power factor. she's a cultural unifier. Beyonce bridges luxury buyers in Lagos, K-pop stans in Seoul, and street-style kids in Brooklyn. 55 C-Suite believes she can neutralize the brand's occasional old money stigma and align it with Pharrell's inclusive vision. In other words, they're paying for a global rebrand disguised as a capsule collection. And the cost of not signing her is losing Gen Z loyalty to brands like Telfar, Jacquemus, or even Skims when it IPOs. Stack those numbers together and the record fee isn't a splurge, it's a hedge, one Louis Vuitton expects to flip from expense to profit before the year is out. Beyoncé didn't just sign on as a pretty face. The contract names her executive creative partner on all Project Renaissance content. She approves photographers, stylists, directors, even the final color grade of every image before it hits a billboard. LV's marketing deck literally routes all campaign assets through B. Knowles Carter. Final okay. That level of veto power is unheard of in high fashion, where even supermodels usually take what the art director gives them. Instead of a flat endorsement fee, she negotiated a hybrid deal, a mid-8-figure advance plus a royalty on every B Icon product sold worldwide. Analysts at Bernstein project that if just 5% of her 314 million followers buy a $250 B Icon silk scarf, her back end could eclipse the original payout by Q4. In other words, she's not an employee, she's a silent partner with skin in the retail game.
Have you noticed Beyoncé receiving that LV handbag from Pharrell Williams? No one realized she's actually the biggest winner of Paris Men's Fashion Week. At the LV show during the 2025 Paris Men's Fashion Week, a top-tier interaction instantly set off a buzz. Just before the runway show started, Pharrell Williams, the men's creative director of LV, dashed over and personally presented a stunning LV handbag to Beyoncé. But there was a man beside Beyoncé, looking to be in his 50s or 60s, who kept staring at the bag. Who on earth was he? Few people knew he was none other than Bernard Arnault, the helmsman of LVMH Group, the 5th richest person in the world, Pharrell's boss, and a 50% stakeholder in Jay-Z's Ace of Spades champagne brand. He's also a die-hard fan of Beyoncé. This gift carries multiple hidden meanings. For Pharrell, presenting a luxury item to the fashion queen not only shows respect for Beyoncé, but also leverages her influence to give LV a major promotional boost. The compact bag design made Beyoncé pause and ponder for a few seconds, leading people to wonder, was she thinking of her daughters Blue and Rumi? And with Bernard Arnault present, maybe he's eyeing the sisters' rising fashion.
The partnership folds neatly into Parkwood Entertainment's expansion plans. Beyoncé secured right of first refusal for any future LV fragrance or beauty line, allowing her to funnel Parkwood's in-house film crew, choreographers, and composers into future campaigns. That turns Louis Vuitton's media budget into a recurring revenue stream for her own company, effectively making Parkwood a boutique creative agency for the world's largest luxury brand. And yes, the lifestyle clause reads like a billionaire's wish list. A dedicated Gulfstream G700 on standby for tour dates, lifetime front row seats with +3 at every Louis Vuitton runway in Paris, Tokyo, and Miami, and a permanent suite at Cheval Blanc Paris, stocked with her preferred vintage rosé. There's even a clause guaranteeing private after-hours access to any LVMH-owned museum space. So if Beyoncé wants to film a TikTok inside the Louvre's Apollo Gallery at 3 a.m., security just says, "We queen." The ripple effect across the luxury world was immediate. Within 24 hours of the Beyoncé LV announcement, Hermès quietly authorized a 30% increase in its Q3 ready-to-wear ad budget and locked an emergency shoot with J-pop star Hikaru Utada, an unmistakable countermove aimed at Asia's streaming-savvy shoppers. Over at Kering, Gucci fast-tracked a rumored collaboration with Dua Lipa. Insiders say the contract was sitting in legal limbo until Louis Vuitton's press release forced the board to green-light the deal before the news cycle resets. Burberry, still nursing a post-pandemic slump, fired off feelers to Burna Boy's management within hours, hoping to capture the same cross-continental buzz Pharrell and Beyoncé just weaponized. Runway economics shifted just as fast. Top modeling agencies reported a surge of frantic renegotiation calls. If a pop icon can command record money and full creative veto, legacy supermodels want hazard pay for bringing less guaranteed reach. Industry Bible Business of Fashion published a lead story titled, "Are Models Still Worth It?" questioning whether blue-chip houses will pivot permanently toward musicians and influencers who arrive with built-in armies of repost bots. Even fast fashion giant Shein attempted to ride the wake, dropping a dubious bee icon-inspired micro bag within 48 hours. LV's legal team responded with a cease and desist before the knockoff hit its second production run. Financial markets took note as well. LVMH's share price jumped 2.4% the morning after the deal leaked, adding roughly 9 billion euros to its market cap. While analysts on Bloomberg TV openly speculated whether Pharrell had just engineered the biggest single-day brand equity bump since Virgil Abloh's 2018 debut. Rival conglomerates Richemont and Capri Holdings slid in midday trading as investors recalibrated expectations. If luxury is now a streaming sport, houses without an A-list pop partner suddenly look underdefended. In boardrooms from New York to Milan, the message rang loud. Whoever owns the playlist may soon own the runway. Beyoncé's payout, according to multiple fashion finance insiders, lands just north of US $50 million upfront, eclipsing the previous single campaign record. Rihanna's reported $30 million Fenty LV deal in 2023 by a wide margin. Add the royalty clause, estimated at 5% of net sales on every B icon piece, and conservative forecasts put her total take at $80 to $90 million by the time the 12-month rollout ends. For Louis Vuitton, that eye-watering check is less a splurge than a calculated acquisition. They're buying guaranteed global reach, playlist real estate, and Gen Z loyalty all in one move. For Beyoncé, it's a masterstroke of vertical integration. She pockets record cash, funnels work to her own Parkwood creative unit, and secures a revenue stream that keeps paying long after the last Renaissance encore fades. If luxury branding is today's high-stakes chessboard, Queen Bee just took 2 rooks and called checkmate.